We all remember recess growing up in school. Recess was a time of day where you could have all the conversations that you could not have while in class. Recess is where you had the real conversations. And real conversations we're going to have. In each episode of the Recess podcast, I'm going to have real conversations explaining to students and school. I'm David McGuire, and I'll be your host. It's recess time, y'all. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Recess podcast. It's episode 40. Happy Friday Eve, happy Thursday, whatever you want to call it. I'm excited for this episode. It's entitled Push Through. I have a dope and dynamic guest and friend and educator and motivational speaker and just a overall dope and phenomenal woman. Jasmyn Wright is with me. We're going to talk about Push Through. We're going to talk about education. We're going to talk about her journey and just how, she started this in her classroom and how now it's inspiring kids all over the world. So as always, the Recess podcast stands for Real Education Conversation, explaining to students in school. And like I said, this is going to be one of those real conversations. So if you're in the audience, pop in the comments, check in, let me know how you're feeling. Scale of 1 to 10. Like I said, we're going to jump right in. So before we get going, I want to play a video because I think the video that has brought us here, I want to make sure that we all can have a chance to look at this. So I'm going to put this on the screen for you guys to enjoy.
What if it's too hard?
I'm gonna push through.
What if it's too rough?
I'm gonna push through.
What if there are too many words?
I'm gonna push through.
What if it's too tough?
I'm gonna push through.
What if you're confused?
I'm gonna push through.
What if you don't know how to do it?
I'm gonna push through.
What if you're just too dumb?
That ain't true.
What if you're just too young?
That ain't true.
What if you're too black?
That ain't true.
What if you're too brown?
That ain't true.
What if you're just not meant to do it?
That ain't true.
What if you just can't do it?
That ain't true.
Why? Because
I can do anything I put my mind to.
Why? Because
I can do anything I put my mind to.
Barack Obama,
He pushed through.
Michelle Obama,
She pushed through.
Jackie Robinson,
He pushed through.
Nelson Mandela,
He pushed through.
Huey Newton,
He pushed through.
Rosa Parks.
She pushed through.
And if they can do it, then
I can do it too.
and if they can do it, then
I can do it too.
and if they can do it, then
I can do it too.
why? Because
I can do anything I put my mind to.
have a seat, please.
Man, that was, listen, I think, I don't know how many times I've probably seen that. And every time I watch it, it's powerful. And so, Jasmyn, first, before we even talk about the video, because we're going to get there, I got chills again. Who's Jasmyn Wright? Who is she?
Okay, so people know me as an educator. I'm a teacher. I'm currently in my 11th year as a classroom teacher. I taught grades anywhere from K through 6. I am a poet. I do spoken word and poetry. I am a CEO. I'm the founder of a nonprofit called the Push Through Corporation, which was inspired from my class and that mantra that you just heard a few moments ago. I am a sister, a cousin, a friend. I'm personality. I am gift. I'm spirituality. I am a keynote speaker. I am a curriculum writer. I am one who wears many hats. That's Jasmyn.
I love it. I love it. So what was the inspiration to get you into education? Like what inspired you to become the educator that you are?
You know what? It's funny how life goes. So first, I have my younger brother. He is autistic, and that's my main man, 100 grand, right? And I remember he would come home from school, and I would help him with his homework. And in helping him with his homework, and just seeing the I don't know, the light bulb click for him for certain things, and it just made me feel good to be able to show him something. And I said, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a teacher one day. This feels good. But that was at the age of like 7 and 8. And it's funny because years later, years went by, and I changed it many times. I'm like, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be whatever the other careers are. And I just made up all these different things. And it wasn't until college that I was recruited by Teach for America. And they're like, we want you to join. And I applied and I joined thinking it was going to be 2 years. And here I am 11 years later, and I do not regret the decision at all.
I think, and most people, they'll tell you, like, you always think, I'll do this for a little bit, right? And then it just sucks you in, right? That is just, it sucks you in and you become a part of it. And so, listen, I think, and you talked about wanting to be a teacher at an early age. I can definitely relate to that, right? I mean, mine was 17, but still, like, you know, most people figure this out in college or anything like that. But there's that spark. But I think at some point we all grew up, thought, I'd be a teacher, right? Whatever the experiences will be. And so, as you talked about, and as we saw in the video, right, push through. Mm-hmm. So it was a mantra in the classroom that completely, what I'm assuming, it blew up, right? And I remember when we first met and we connected on it, I think I asked you that, like, you know, and you said, it just blew up. This is something I just did in my classroom. And I think you said, who recorded the video again?
One of my students, the one in the video, if you can hear him say, I can do it too. He was too cool to be in the video. He didn't want to be. He was like, I'll record it. And it was his idea to put it on my Facebook page. So he actually, I have to give him his props for that. He was a part of my life change.
So tell us about it. So you did the mantra. Even before it blew up, like, tell me the motivation behind the mantra. Why'd you write it? Why did you have the kids decide it? Talk about that a little bit.
All right. So I see education a little bit differently. Like, and even with, like I said, helping my younger brother, it was more than just me helping him with his math and his reading. It was a feeling that I felt. I see education or any job where you're working with youth as a ministry or as an assignment, right? And when I go into the classroom, or if I go into any space where I am helping better or strengthen the lives of kids, I'm taking it as an assignment. I take my assignment seriously. Mm-hmm. And I just push through was just what went viral. You know, that's just one of the many conversations over the 11 years, or over the chance of the 11 years that just happened to gain traction. But in the classroom, I spoke to kids here. Like, I'm big on self-awareness. I'm big on identity. I believe that every child walking into the room has a unique gift, and I want kids to know who they are, their who, what, when, where's, and whys, in their house. And as far as in each grade, believe it or not, each grade that I taught had its own affirmation, or had its own chant, or had its own kind of conversation. Even the grades that I teach now, we don't even do push through. We have our own new one. But for push through itself, I was coming from, was it Tennessee or Delaware? I taught in different schools and districts. And the school would push through, that was in Philly. And I just know the school that I was coming from, I had like, it was not different demographic, but it was just North versus the South. Okay. Where I was coming from. And, you know, the South, everybody's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And up North is a little different. And I just know, but also in the South, I had more, for my schools, I had more autonomy with lessons and more innovation and creativity. And when I came to this particular school, their structure was different for me. It was a challenge for me. So that was something that I was pushing through. On top of that, I'm in this school with the strict structure, right? The strict curriculum. And the kids, we didn't have the resources to match. Like, we didn't have the smart board, or the whatever. We had a projector that barely worked sometimes, you know.
I remember those.
That job, it barely worked, you know, no matter how much you plug it in, plug it out. And with the dingy whiteboard, that no matter how much you washed it, that stainless steel is just chilling there. Yeah. And the point is, it was like under-resourced, and I'm in this crowded classroom with these babies teaching this curriculum, and I would just have these mama moments with them still. But on top of that, it's you know, I can't do this, or I'm not good at this, or I'm not smart. If you hear one line in the mantra, it says, "What if you're too black?" Mm-hmm. And the words say that's not true. Mm-hmm. I got so much backlash for that, but people don't know where it came from. So there was actually a conversation that I had with a student in that class, and he said to me, he was reading this book on cars, fast cars, and he said to me, Miss Wright, look at this car. This is something like that. You know, he's like, look at this car. It's a really fast car. I'm like, oh, that's great. Not really caring, but you know how we do as educators. Yeah. I'm enjoying his excitement in the book, right? But immediately, he's 9 years old. He stops himself, and he's like, oh, but wait a minute. He was like, black people can't drive these kinds of cars. Ooh. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Why not? He said, Ms. Wright, you know I'm black. You know where we from? You know where we live? Unless you you sell drugs, you can't drive these kinds of cars. And it was just, so that was a mama moment. And so the words of the mantra came from conversations that I've had with the kids in the class. And I remember one day I was home getting ready for work the night before, and the poet in me, the words were just pouring into my head. And I was like, yo, I have to take this to school tomorrow to share with my kids. And I did, and we practiced it every day. Like, and it changed the entire culture of my classroom. I promise you it did. It changed the culture, the accountability, the awareness, the grit. It changed the vibe of my room. And the day that it went viral, we had actually been practicing in the classroom for about a month before then.
So talk to me about that. So look, because I've heard it. I remember, when we met, I heard the story. But tell the folks that are listening live that will listen to this later. It goes on Facebook, and then tell me what happens next. Like,
Okay. It was the scariest. It was talk about teaching my kids to push through. This moment has been teaching me how to push through and stepping out of my comfort zone, and taking risks. I'm the teacher, right, who keeps her door, or just not the teacher, the person. I'm very outgoing personality, but when I'm working, I like my door closed. Don't bother me. I don't want to converse. The teacher in the school who doesn't even, instead of the teacher's lounge, I'm like chilling in my room by myself. Like, don't bother me. Yeah. And so for it to be viral, now the world has opened up to my classroom, and to my DMs or messages or my pages. It was very overwhelming for me because it's like, okay. I uploaded to my Facebook page. I was driving home from work. I was working in Philly. And I'm living in Delaware. So it was like a 50-minute drive. And I just know, I just keep hearing all of these like ding, ding, ding on my phone. And so, me, I'm like, wow, this group chat is
it's jumping, right?
But I'm not checking it because I'm driving, weaving through traffic. And then I get home and I noticed that the video had about 5,000 views. Didn't really do anything to me. I'm like, wow, this is cool. But then it was a push through, was a slow rise. I'm getting messages and notifications from people from all over the world, literally in all walks of life, who are telling me what it means to them, and how it's helped them in their journey. And I'm like, oh, this is bigger than the mantra itself. And that's when I knew, Jazz, I think you're about to go viral. and it's literally, I'm talking an hour later, or like a couple minutes later, it was 13,000. Then I just remember throughout the night saying, wow, I woke up the next day, it was 150,000. Within 1 week, it was 3.7 million views. And that changed. Yeah, tell me about it. It changed my entire professional, spiritual, and personal life, from the different opportunities to the traveling, to the different media outlets, to new things that I'm doing now. A year later, it was turned into a Gap Kids campaign, a Gap Kids commercial. They reached out and they're like, we want to shorten it, to make it a part of our global campaign. And so we did that, and then it went viral again, and my life went on a different, another spin in a whirlwind for just the journey that I've been doing professionally, and things. And now we have the book. It's Push Through is a movement now. It's in 30 countries. Children in 30 countries are reciting it. Oh, check it out. It's a movement. It's been translated into 5 languages. And the beauty of it all is that we're just getting started, and I'm excited for this journey, for this bigger and larger assignment. So,
Jasmyn, you said something. We're going to everything you said, but did you say that you were still teaching?
Yeah, I'm tired.
But look,
tired.
But look, I said that because I want to name it, because those that know, and a lot of people have seen it, right? And that you went viral, you're speaking all over the world, your videos all over the world, you released the book, and some folks is like, and you're doing like workshops and things like that, right? Some consulting. So you're doing all this stuff, and you still are in the classroom. And to me, that's powerful, because basically to me, you said, look, I went viral and I'm doing something great. But there's kids that still need to see me every single day. There's kids that still need to be in my room every single day, and that grind. Yeah. So the strength to still teach, to still do those things, right? What's kept you in the classroom, even after going viral, even after the success of Push Through, the book and everything like that? What's kept you still be a teacher?
A couple things. The first one is I feel like the classroom is like my laboratories where I gain all of my content and my skills. They keep me humble, and I feel like I still have more to give to these kids. I still have more, and every year that I go back, I realize the assignment again. Like, these babies were put here for me. They still need the message. I think it's just a part of me. Now, I'm not going to lie. There's in the future, eventually, things will go its own way. But right now, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I just feel like those babies where I'm at right now, right in the inner city, they need me. And I need them, honestly. We need each other, so.
Yeah, and you talked about, like you said, like still being in the classroom gives you inspiration, it inspires you, right? And you mentioned you're a poet, right? So, and your new class has their own chant, and it's not because you're saying, "Let me try to go viral again." It's just like, push through was for this group in this movement, but these kids now need something different, and I think that's reflective, inspiring as an educator to say, like, look, I mean, because you could easily roll push through with everybody, but just like push through might not fit for this group of kids, right? They might need something different, and that's inspiring and powerful. And I put it up there, right? If you want to continue to follow Jasmyn, not just with push through, but follow Jasmyn. She's on Instagram and Twitter at I am Jasmyn Wright. So that's up there. So make sure you follow her. And I'm gonna do this throughout the show, but everybody knows when I have people here that wrote a book. So this is my school's copy of Jasmyn's book right here. I'm gonna push through. So if you are listening to this live or listen to this later, hit me up on Twitter, DM me. Some of y'all that know me, call me. I'm buying 5 copies for the first 5 people.
Thank you.
But I'm gonna push through. So definitely hit it up. I've read it. My kids read it. They love it, and I got to take their book back because they're gonna kill me. But I definitely gonna get those 5 copies. So the book, right? So the movement happens, right? The speaking engagements happen. All those other things. What led to the book?
Okay, so I was just thinking, of the legacy. Number one, how do I keep the legacy beyond audio and visual? And on top of that, it was like, okay, Jazz, you're an educator. How can we take push through and make it tangible? Like, how can I take it and be able to really have an impact in all classrooms? And it was like, make it a book, right? And so, and the beauty of I'm going to push through, and all of my new children's books coming out, you got to stay tuned for what's coming up.
Here we go. Little teaser.
I'm saying affirmation girl. But with push through, it's the book itself is I believe it to be interactive, meaning it's 100% affirmation, and it can be the reader and audience. So the reader says one line, and the audience or the listener, can respond with the next line. That's why if you look at the text, it's different colors for the text on each page. It's like I say, you repeat, to the point where the book can even be memorized as an affirmation. And also, I want kids to be able to see that since Push Through was global, we need to have more conversations on diversity in our classrooms. And I think I've had this conversation with the publishing company, with Simon & Schuster, that I would like any kid who picks up this book to be able to identify and see him or herself in it. And that's important for schools to understand, like, we all got a story. We're all pushing through something. We're more alike than we are different. And it kind of builds empathy. It also, I think the images kind of bring the words to life. And so I just wanted a book to be able to carry out the push through legacy, and also to have kids be able to have something tangible in their classrooms or in their homes.
So I love this part of the book. This
oh yeah.
Yeah. Just having those people in there, and like you said, it says he pushed through, she pushed through, right? And what you can do is you can do 2 things, right? You can show this to your class and then tell them about this person's story, right? And then end it with, now hearing that story, right? They push through, right? They survive. Right. So I love that, but as you said, and it's very the first of all, the art is phenomenal, by the way.
Yeah.
And so like it's a great book, like you said, the pictures and the words and again, something that you can use, right, as an affirmation. I know of teachers that have used it. So with that, Jasmyn, you talked about the DMs and the messages. So if you could with us share maybe a story that of someone that said how they use push through, and it can be an educator, it could be a teacher, it could be just somebody in life on how they use push through to inspire them. Do you have a story you want to share of one that sticks out to you? I know you probably have a lot, but just one that really sticks out.
You'll be surprised. Believe it or not, before I even share the story, people don't know when they share those stories with me. It helps me push through because I have my own stuff that I'm going through myself, my own journey. And and I deal with things such as imposter syndrome, or I just deal with negativity. I deal with doubt. I just deal with my own stuff because we all have our journeys. And so when people are sharing these messages with me, literally from all over the world, it just has me like, all right, God, you're in prayer. It's bigger than me. It is bigger than me, and it's bigger than our stories. And that's what push through is about. You're pushing through because it's bigger than you. And I remember, let's say, okay, I was in London, right? I was pushed through having the opportunity in London. I didn't know how this education tech company, vocabulary, and I was over there working. They had some kind of large education conference, and I was there to be the keynote speaker for that conference on behalf of them. And so I said all that to say I'm in London, right? The only people I know are the people who brought me over there, the organization. And this conference is one of the largest in the UK. It was like over 10,000 people in this kind of, not the actual room where I spoke, but in the hall. I'm not sure where all the vendors are selling their stuff. It was over 10,000 people. And here I am at this booth, at this company's booth. And there is a gentleman. He's from Nigeria, right? He lives in the UK. He walks up to me, and I like him. It's a crowded spot, and this was 2018. He's like, "Are you Jasmyn Wright?" I'm like, "Oh." And I was like, it kind of, weirded me. I'm like, "Yeah, I am." And he was like, "I'm just letting you know that I came all the way here from another part in the UK to meet you." And I was like, "What?" And then he said, "I just came here to let you know. You have no idea the I don't know mess up this word, the influence that you had on a 9-year-old girl in Nigeria." I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." He said that I don't want to mess this up. He said that she was having really difficult time in school, difficult time at home, just dealing with neglect, some family issues. She was in foster home, just these different trials and tribulations, her pushing journey. He said nothing was working. He said somehow, some way they came across your video. And he said when she first saw it, it was a Gap commercial video. He said her eyes were glued to it. And he said she watched it over and over and over until she memorized it. And he said to the point where she used it to speak over herself, and it's changed her life. It's changed her behavior. It's really changed her. He said you just wouldn't understand. He said, "So I came here to thank you for push through and let you know the influence that it had on a 9-year-old girl's life in Nigeria." And I just broke down crying. He told me that because it didn't give him a hug because I'm extra. But it was just wow. But that's not even. I have one more for you. It was another time I was in I was about to Bangladesh. I was living there. I was going there for 3 months to work as a curriculum director. Push through, right? And I put it on my Facebook page like, I'm going to Bangladesh for 3 months. I was in Dhaka, Bangladesh for 3 months. Just the bragging of what we usually do, right? This was in 2017, and at this time I had so many followers on social media. I really didn't even understand what followers meant on Facebook, to be honest with you. I wasn't really big on social media before this, but I didn't even know who was following me. Put it that way. And when I put that up there, there was a woman almost immediately who sent me an email. A message on Facebook and said, "Hey, Jasmyn, I know you don't know me, but my name is so-and-so." And she was like, "I see that you're coming." Meaning she said, "You're coming to Dhaka, to Bangladesh." She said, "I want you to know that there's an orphanage there, ages 7 through 17, I believe, who recite your mantra in their native language every day." She said, "It would be awesome for you to come see them when you come." Of course. It was like, wow, Bangladesh is small village. And so I went there and I met these kids, and they didn't speak English, but they're all like this. Right, for push through. And the woman there translated, they recited it for me in their language, which brought me to tears. It was beautiful. And the woman said that, the translator saying that the kids think it brings them hope that they're going to get adopted one day. And then remind them that they're not forgotten. And it was just like, wow. Our gifts are bigger than us, man. That's why I try to push through my own mess, because it's bigger. Everything is bigger than us.
Again, what's so inspiring, Jasmyn, is something that you did in the classroom are also inspiring people just in life, right?
Yeah.
Push through in life, right? When you're afraid of something, when something's too hard, when the kid, like you said, you might not get this car or get this job or get this position because you're Black, right? That ain't true. Like, that's, again, I think that's, when I think about why it went viral, it's because it doesn't just hit education. It hits life. It hits people, I'm sure, that was dealing with a death, dealing with abuse, dealing with a physical abuse, substance abuse. It's different things like that. And not to mention, right, in the classroom, or when I know our kids, we did it right before we took our state assessments. I had the 4th graders do it, right? Just different things like that. It's just something that can connect. And again, I also think things go viral and things are special when I think the messenger and the creator is special. meaning you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Because again, I know, in our interactions, I know you didn't do it to go viral. I know you didn't do it to make a name, right?
And I still do it, yeah.
Right, exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
you're continuing to do it because people need it. People continue to need the message, and educators are struggling, right? And so it's like, well, here's something. Just we're we teach, we good, right, at borrowing something. If it works, right, let's use it. But it's helping people, and I just think that's inspiring. I think everything you're doing is inspiring, and
Thank
you still, as my kids would say, you still in the mud. You still teaching straight in the trenches, but
and you know what the beauty about that is also, when I go and I speak, especially when it's a keynote or training, I'm like the educator, like I'm right there with you.
right.
I'm right there to fill with you. I get it.
I grade papers. I call parents. I teach lessons. I get it.
Yes, I am dealing. Yes, I get it. And what's interesting is that the school that I go to, I did not tell anybody. Nobody about push through. And if they find out, they find out on their own through randomness. But I promise you, even this school year, people say, "Hey, did you?" So I'm like, yeah, it's like just last week. But I've never said anything in the entire school year. I'm just Jasmyn. I'm Miss Wright or Jasmyn, and I don't feel like I have to go and, hey, this is my video. This is what I do.
Pick up my video.
You know who I am? You know,
Right.
I don't want to listen to plans because I'm Jasmyn. No, it's not. And if you find out who I am, then we'll have a conversation. But it's not right now. I'm your colleague. We're just colleagues at the moment.
Yeah.
And so that's everywhere I go, though. Everywhere I go, I don't even. They say, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I have a nonprofit and I'm a teacher." That's it. I don't go and talk about anything else. It's too long.
Yeah.
I'm a nonprofit. I'm an educator. That's it.
And people that follow you, they know, first of all, you're all about family, right? So like, I mean, you're down over East Coast girl, right? Just straight down. I heard that Joan in there earlier. So, right. You're a down to earth person, and people sometimes this world of viralness and social media, right, can suck people in and make people forget, who they are and where they came from and what inspired them. And I think that's what makes it powerful. And I got to make sure I give you your flowers. So, we've known each other in social media for some years. When I was in Philly that time, we linked up and just chatted. But like, you've always been super dope. And I appreciate, man, seeing you do the work. And I know when the book came out, I was like, damn, I know her. She wrote a book. It's funny. I tell this story. So when a couple years ago, I think 2 years ago, one of my teachers, I was in the hallway, doing my rounds as a principal, and I was like, and so one of my third grade teachers, her class was doing it, and she goes, "Hey, Mr. McGuire, have you seen this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I seen it. It's pretty cool." And then my kids was like, "I love it." And I told my kids, I was like, "Hey, I know her." They were like, "You know her? You know the girl from the video?" I was like, "Yeah." I said, I know her. They were like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, I know her." And it's crazy, but I never told the teacher about it. She found it on her own. She needed something to inspire her kids and motivate them. They were struggling. The school year goes. It's that late in the school year is getting, and so she needed a pick me up, and it picked them up. And those kids now are fifth graders. And so
now fifth grade.
Yeah, and so they're fifth graders, and so I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna show them a clip of this podcast. But y'all remember her, right? And so I think it's dope. So listen, before I let you go, a couple of things I want to ask you. What's next? Not just what's next for Jasmyn, but what's next for Push Through? Because I got it at the bottom. If folks want to follow, right, Push Through on Instagram. Like, what's next for Push Through, and then what's next for Jasmyn Wright?
Yeah. How I thought about giving things away.
Okay. Give them a little sample, a little tease.
No, expect another children's book.
Okay.
And it's based off an affirmation that I do with my kids now.
Mm-hmm.
Expect another campaign coming for something else. Before it was the GAP campaign, expect another one. Another big thing coming. And as far as the thing, expect programming. Like, I'm already had the Push Through program. I'm working on some grants. I would love to officially be in schools as an official Push Through program. I'm talking teacher training curriculum I have. I just want to make it a full-fledged program for kids. That's what I have for Push Through at the moment. The outline for that. And for Jasmyn, I'm just growing. I'm growing. And I'm taking opportunities as they come. some collaborations, potential collaborations, and road offers.
Yep. I put the website up for people to see, right? If they want to
Okay.
visit you, right? So it's yep. What is it? WePushThrough.org, right? WePushThrough.org. So again, like I said, click on the website, click right there, order the book, download the free curriculum guide. Again, listen, she's giving it out for free, right? Like, so y'all better get on it now, because when sister blow up for real, right, you're gonna have to pay. But what I always tell people this: listen, when you see quality, especially from, listen, I'm pro-black. You know, when you see quality, you know, we got to support black businesses. So this is a black queen that's doing powerful work. So order the books, plural. You know, teachers, title money. Some of y'all got CARES money, right? Click on the website, buy a class set. I know that's something we're about to do. So the kids can stop fighting over the one book. Buy a class set, right? It's teacher appreciation coming up, right? A teacher you love, right? Buy them a copy of this. You know what? Maybe that's what I'll do for my teachers. Look at that. I'll do something myself. Buy a copy, right? And support what Jasmyn's doing, because she's doing dope work, and we need more of this energy in this world, man. Jasmyn, look, lately, my last couple shows ago, I had this show about all this mistreatment of black kids in schools, man. Some of this craziness that's happening. And so I'm like, shoot, with all this craziness going on, we need to do better of highlighting the great things that are happening in school, right? And not teachers making black kids bow down and say sorry, making black kids put their hand in toilets.
Listen, I'm just so glad some things are not happening at a school where I teach at, because they would be a whole different person besides push through and keynote Jasmyn, okay?
Come on.
My babies.
Come on, man, listen, I know God is protecting me. I know I'm covered by the blood, because if that happened at my school, they would be taking me out in handcuffs. And I'm a principal. I was like, you ain't even got to, it won't be none of these stories where the teacher put on paid leave. The teacher was fired and arrested and probably had them hands put on them.
Yes, don't mess with my baby. Yes.
Come on, man. Street justice is real. So look, before we close the show, Jasmyn, I want to do the mantra, if you don't mind.
All right. Do you know the words, or can I teach it to you? I don't even know the words. That's messed up.
I might know them. Come on.
All right.
Here we go.
So, if I ask you, I'll do a real quick one through, right?
Okay.
So I say, what if it's too hard? You say, I'm going to push through.
I'm going to push through.
What if it's too tough?
I'm going to push through.
What if it's too rough?
I'm going to push through.
Okay. So I'm like, what if you're just too young? Like, what if you're just too young to chase your dreams or whatever? You say, that's not true.
That's not true.
What if you're not good enough?
That's not true.
Why? Because you say, I can do anything I put my mind to.
I can do anything I put my mind to.
All right, let's start from the beginning. After that, just follow. Just follow.
Okay, look, hey, again, those that are watching live, go ahead and do it, even though we can't see you. Those that will listen to this later, join in. I got Jasmyn Wright on the Recess Podcast doing the push through. Here we go. Let's go.
All right. What if it's too hard?
I'm going to push through.
What if it's too tough?
I'm going to push through.
What if it's too rough?
I'm going to push through.
What if you're just too young?
That ain't true.
What if you're not good enough?
That ain't true.
Why? Because
I can do anything I put my mind to.
There's more. I believe in you. Chin up. You gotta say chin up.
Chin up.
Believe in yourself. Say head high.
Head high.
Last line. Tell me why. You say I push through anything I put my mind to.
I push through anything I put my mind to.
That's the short one. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Recess Podcast. I've had Jasmyn Wright. Don't forget, if you tuning in live, if you catch us later, hit me up. I'm going to push through. I got 5 copies. If you missed the 5 copies, click on the website, order from the website. They also get on Amazon, I know too, but
I don't actually have copies of the book. It's the publisher, Simon & Schuster, has them. You can get them from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, just online.
But I'm going to encourage you to go to wepushthrough.org and click on order now to purchase the book. Again, hey, Jasmyn, much love. I appreciate you. God bless you. Let's make sure we stay in touch. As always, everybody, this has been the Recess Podcast. As I always say, create the platform, control the conversation, and change the culture. Stay blessed, stay safe. Love Black children, protect Black children, and I'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Amen.